After the battle of Uhud, you guys remember what happened at Uhud, right? They lost. The archers didn't do their job. Who do you think would have been the most despised individual amongst the Muslims at that time? Khalid ibn Walid. He was the reason for their loss on that day. Well, the archers, but he had the knowledge. He actually held people back. He had a flank of the army held back, watching those archers. If they move, you go. When our Prophet ﷺ, after Uhud, he saw Khalid ibn Walid's brother in Medina, right? He said, I want you to send your brother a message now. How would that message go for us? Watch your back. I'm coming for you. Sleep with one eye open. We gonna get you. That's how, online for sure we'd be all kinds of nonsense. What did he say to him? Tell your brother he's too wise. He's too smart. He has great intelligence and farasa, that there's no way he can deny who I am. This is the same man who was the cause of the loss of his uncle. The same man who was the cause of the loss of Ja'far. The same man who was the cause of the loss of Musab ibn Umair and all the martyrs of Uhud. His own family member, his close companions. He praised him. Why? Because the Prophet ﷺ had vision. He could see bigger than what was right in front of him. He understood the implication of great people and what they could accomplish and their talents. He recognized people's talent and people's contributions, even if they should have been his enemies. When his brother took that message to Khalid and he heard that, it broke him, it touched him. That this man whom I've caused so much misery to, so much hardship to, so much grief and anguish, his only message to me was that I'm too intelligent not to recognize who he is. And he was right. They didn't fight against him because they didn't know who he was. They fought against him because they could not stand the implications of what he brought. What did Khalid do? Jumped on his horse and rode straight to Medina. When he got to Medina, he started walking towards the masjid, and Abu Bakr and a couple others, they caught him. They were like, whoa, where are you going? You know, they thought maybe this is an assassination attempt. Catch him, they tied him up. And they drug him to the Prophet. We got him. The Prophet ﷺ said, what are you doing? Let him go. Let him go. So they untied him, let him go. He came and sat in front of the Prophet ﷺ and said, Ashhadu an la ilaha illallah wa ashhadu annaka Rasulullah. I bear witness there's no deity but Allah, and you are indeed the messenger of Allah. The Prophet ﷺ smiled. And Khalid started taking off his jewelry, his flamboyant rings and all these things, and donating them for the sake of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Said, this belongs to sadaqah now. Then he took the sword. He had his sword hanging around his neck. Because when they hung the sword around their neck, that was like, I'm here this is it, life or death situation for me. He took it off and tried to hand it to the Prophet ﷺ. What did the Prophet say? He said, no, hold on to that. I have a feeling you might need it. Just hold on to that. This is the same Khalid ibn Walid that would take down the largest empires. The world has some of the largest empires the world has ever known, and bring them under the banner of Tawheed for Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. The same sword that would become the destruction of the many members of the family of the Prophet ﷺ and his dear friends and companions at Uhud, that same sword would become the unsheathed sword of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to take Tawheed around the world and to defend the Muslim Ummah. You see, this is how we deal with calamities. We look at how we can prevent them in the future. We don't just react to them and try to put a band-aid and slap a plaster on them and that's the end of it. We try to look at ways that we can avoid these situations in the future. Unfortunately, we haven't got there yet. We're still dealing with reaction-based calamities.